Basically, my philosophy when it comes to Noahide is a person who's not Jewish who realizes that the God of Israel is the true God of the world, and for whatever reason does not feel that conversions for them. The Gemara says clearly that the righteous of the nations, meaning those who are non-Jews, have a place to the world to come. And it talks about the 7 commandments that are there. And in some of the Pasuk talks about certain other things, but basically it's quite simple. You're supposed to keep the 7 commandments that there are, and that's what Hashem wants for you. The purpose of it is very interesting. We see from looking at some of the commentaries on some of the other issues involved that the purpose of the non-Jew in the world is somewhat different from the Jew. The Jew in the world is, as it says in the Torah in Exodus, before giving the Torah, before Hashem gives the Torah to the Jewish people, it says, "Atam tili mamlechas kahanim v'gai kudesh," that you will be to me a kingdom of kahanim, which means priests, and gai kudesh, a holy people. The word holy kudesh really means separate, a nation separated. Jewish people are separated to do God's commandments, sort of like something that people in the world could, these are the people who do it, who are doing it. So what's the rest of the people do? Well, if you look at the Torah itself, with the Jewish people, among the Jewish people nation, there are the priests and there's the rest of the people. The priests are involved with priestly services and they have all kinds of things like that. And the rest of the people live normal lives and live in a world, in a society that is Torah-based, that people should live in a certain way, which is oriented toward God. And that is really what the Noahide laws are about in a nutshell. We could talk about specifically whatever, but in a nutshell, the Noahide laws are basically how a non-Jew is supposed to live so that the area that they're around and people around them and everything around them becomes a place where godliness could spread and the world is in a more stable place. I mean, I'll give you an example. Where I work, people won't swear around me because they know that, that little place is not the place to do it. Not all Jewish people like that. I'm just a little more fanatic, I guess. But that's really what it is. We're supposed to, in the non-Jew in his way, the Jew in his way, is to make this world a place that's functioning properly, that godliness could be in this world. The Jewish people should do their function, and that everything should be in its proper place, in its proper way. That is really the function of everybody, but the non-Jew has specifically certain things that are there. And that goes around the 7 laws. And how much time we'll have really to do it, I'm not really sure, but we'll get into it. So basically, that's who I am. Basically, I'm a Counter Mishnah. If you read any of Dr. Brown's later books, you'll see that my name appears there almost as much as Toby Singer. Him and I have interacted for a number of years. That's another issue that I don't want to do. So as far as Noahide, there are a couple issues here that are important. What is a Noahide to begin with? Just saying that you're a non-Jew, well, every non-Jew is non-Jew, but obviously today the word Noahide is used to speak to a specific group of non-Jews. So what makes these non-Jews different? And what it makes essentially is that these are non-Jews who are aware of Torah. Overwhelmingly, they come out of Christianity, although there is a woman who I'm dealing with who comes from a Hindu family. She actually asked me, today is a Hindu holiday. So we were discussing how she can navigate with her family around that. So these are, it's an individual issue that comes with the families. I know you want to talk about families. We will talk about that later, but this particular thing came up. Overwhelmingly we find is a Noahide, what they call movement. And I dislike that name because it's not part of Torah. The Torah does not see Noahide as a movement. It sees countries following the Noahide laws and setting up judicial systems within countries. There's things for individuals, but group-wise, it doesn't see it as that. There's nowhere we see that. It's something that developed by itself now. It has positives and negatives, but that's a different issue. So a Noahide is essentially, we could say there's a couple of things with Noahide. The name Noahide refers to somebody who is non-Jewish, who believes in the God of Israel, who is consciously trying to keep the 7 commandments because of an understanding of that they come from the God of Israel, and that the traditions around them that the rabbis have given to us is the traditions that come from God. That's basically what I would say is the definition. The name Noahide is basically taken from English, like the word B'nai Noach, which means literally the children of Noah, and it appears in rabbinical literature a lot of times. B'nai Noach sometimes means, most of the time, B'nai Noach is really referring to anybody who's not Jewish, because we're B'nai Yisrael, children of Israel, children of Jacob, and so the rest of the nations, who's their descendant, they can all go back to, and that's Noach, the B'nai Noach. However, you'll see sometimes in legal literature, Halakhah literature, you will find B'nai Noach is referring specifically to non-Jews who are keeping these 7 laws. You'll find that sometimes. So it became popular 20, 25, 30 years ago, not exactly when, to use the word Noahide to refer to those non-Jews who are doing. It's not really Torah, but it's what people do. It's a convention. It's just the way it is.